Listen, Billy Pilgrim has come unstuck in time.
It's a terrifying way to exist, isn't it?
Yeah, having absolutely no control over your own existence.
Right, just going to sleep as a senile widower and then waking up on your wedding day.
You walk through a door in 1955, and
Okay.
you step out of another one in 1941.
You're just completely spastic in time.
And that physical dislocation,
Yeah.
that's the central tension we are looking at today, because this isn't just a clever sci-fi gimmick.
No, not at all. It is a profound metaphor for a mind that has just been completely shattered by experience.
Specifically, by the firebombing of Dresden.
Yes.
Today we are doing a deep dive into Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut.
An absolute masterpiece.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's a book that changed the way we look at war, trauma, and honestly, the very concept of free will.
Because it presents this transformative idea right out of the gate. That time is not a line.
Right.
It's a landscape, a mountain range where all moments exist simultaneously.
Which, if you think about it, for a man who has seen too much death.
That might be the only coping mechanism that actually works.
Exactly. So our mission today is to unpack this, what Vonnegut calls a duty dance with death.
It's an anti-war book that freely admits anti-war books are as effective as anti-glacier books.
Huh, right.
Oh.
You can't stop a glacier. We are going to trace Billy Pilgrim's erratic jumps from the horrors of World War II to the suburban ennui of Ilium, New York.
And all the way to an alien zoo on the planet Tralfamadore.
And ultimately, we have to help you, the listener, answer this question. How do you find meaning in a world where the only logical response to tragedy is the phrase, "So it goes"?
It's a heavy question, but let's start at the beginning, although not Billy's beginning.
Right, the book actually starts with the author himself.
Yeah, the first chapter isn't about Billy Pilgrim at all. It's about Kurt Vonnegut,
It's him struggling to write this exact book for 23 years.
which is such a brilliant way to set the tone. He tells us he thought it would be easy,
He thought he'd just report what he saw in Dresden and it would be a masterpiece.
but he couldn't find the words. I mean, he literally says there is nothing intelligent to say about a massacre.
It's fascinating because when you dive into a classic, you expect the fiction to start on page 1.
You want the story to just go.
Right. But Vonnegut breaks the fourth wall immediately. He's talking about the money he thought he'd make, the fame,
He thought this would be his big war book.
and that expectation, the idea of a big war book, is exactly what blocks him.
Because he realizes the standard language of war stories is a lie
It imposes a neat narrative arc on something that is fundamentally chaotic.
and senseless.
Yeah.
He describes trying to outline the story on rolls of wallpaper using crayons.
Just trying to make the characters make sense.
But they kept dying or just doing nothing. It wouldn't work.
And there's this really pivotal moment in that first chapter. It frames the entire novel.
The visit to Bernard V. O'Hare.
Yes. Vonnegut goes to visit his old war buddy. He wants to reminisce, maybe jog some memories for the book.
He brings a bottle of booze, thinking they'll just swap war stories like old pals.
But the reception is incredibly icy. Bernard is polite enough, but his wife, Mary O'Hare,
Oh, Mary is absolutely not having it.
she is furious. You can literally feel the tension in the way Vonnegut writes it.
She's in the kitchen banging ice trays around, slamming doors.
And she's angry because she assumes Vonnegut is going to write a typical war book.
She finally turns on him. She thinks he's going to turn the war into something glamorous.
She pictures a movie starring Frank Sinatra or John Wayne.
Right, these tough, seasoned heroes.
And she just yells at him, "You were just babies then."
She's terrified that if he writes a book making them look like dashing men, it'll just encourage more wars.
Wars fought by more babies.
She sees the whole cycle. Old men write books about glory, and young children die trying to imitate it.
And it cuts Vonnegut to the core. He realizes she is completely right.
There were foolish virgins in the war. They were right at the end of childhood.
They didn't know what they were doing. They were just bodies being moved around a map.
So he makes her a promise.
This is the handshake that defines everything that follows.
He vows that he won't make the soldiers look like men.
He promises to call the book The Children's Crusade.
That distinction is so crucial. It strips away the entire hero myth before the story even begins.
You aren't going to read about brave warriors saving the day.
You're going to read about scared, incompetent children being led to slaughter.
It totally realigns what we expect as readers.
We stop looking for valor. We start looking for tragedy.
And that brings us perfectly to our protagonist, Billy Pilgrim.
Oh, Billy.
If you were casting a war movie in the 1940s, Billy Pilgrim is the very last person you would pick.
He is the absolute antithesis of a war hero.
Vonnegut describes him as tall and weak.
shaped like a Coca-Cola bottle.
Right. And he's an optometrist in civilian life.
Which is highly symbolic in itself, a profession dedicated to correcting vision.
But in the war, he is a chaplain's assistant.
A chaplain's assistant who somehow ends up as an infantry scout.
And he is comically ill-equipped for it.
It's absurd. He has no weapons. He has no helmet.
And eventually, he has no boots.
He loses a heel on his army boots, so he's wearing these cheap civilian shoes that make him bob up and down in the snow.
Vonnegut says he looks like a filthy flamingo.
A filthy flamingo. It's such a pathetic image, but it's endearing.
You just want to protect him.
But nobody protects him. Instead, he gets stuck behind enemy lines with this group called the Three Musketeers.
Oh, the Three Musketeers.
Mm-hmm.
And here we see the complete other side of the coin.
Because if Billy is the reality of the drafted soldier, just confused and passive.
Roland Weary is the delusion.
Roland Weary, what a piece of work.
He is fascinating because he represents all that toxic romanticization of war Mary O'Hare was worried about.
He's cruel, he's fat, he's deeply unpopular.
And he's obsessed with torture devices.
He carries this trench knife that he is just dying to use on somebody.
But in his own head, in his internal monologue, he is the leader of this elite unit.
The Three Musketeers. And he thinks he is single-handedly saving Billy's life.
While the reality is so starkly different, he is literally kicking and beating Billy.
Because Billy just wants to quit.
He wants to sink into the snow and die.
He has zero survival instinct. He tells them, "You guys go on without me."
He's completely done.
But Weary keeps him moving. And not out of kindness.
No, out of pure spite.
He wants to be a hero.
Yeah.
He needs Billy to be the damsel in distress so Weary can be the savior.
It's a totally parasitic relationship.
And the bitter irony is that this forced heroism...
Weary's refusal to just be quiet and hide.
Exactly. That's what gets him captured by the Germans.
The capture scene is brutal. The Germans shake them down.
And this is a critical detail. They take Weary's sturdy combat boots,
But what do they give him?
these awful, rigid wooden clogs.
And that shoe exchange is a literal death sentence.
It destroys his feet, the friction, the cold, the snow.
He gets gangrene.
It's such an inglorious way to die.
He doesn't go out in a blaze of glory. He dies in a train boxcar filled with prisoners.
Delirious from an infection caused by bad shoes.
But as he's dying in that boxcar, he doesn't blame the Germans.
He doesn't blame the war.
He blames Billy Pilgrim.
He claims Billy killed him.
And that sets up a revenge plot that spans literally decades.
Weary makes another soldier in the boxcar, Paul Lazaro, promise to kill Billy Pilgrim.
To avenge him. It's this cycle of violence that starts from pure pettiness.
It really highlights how unglamorous all of this is.
It's like a curse, a dying man's curse in a rolling cattle car.
And throughout all this death, Weary dying, the lice dying on the soldiers' coats, later the thousands in Dresden.
We get that refrain.
So it goes.
It appears after every single mention of death in the book.
Whether it's a champagne bubble popping, a louse being crushed, or an entire city being incinerated.
So it goes.
It becomes almost hypnotic for the reader.
At first it feels sort of dismissive, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, who cares?
But as you keep reading, the texture of it changes entirely.
You realize it's the ultimate equalizer.
It refuses to rank tragedies. A dead bug and a dead city receive the exact same eulogy.
Which creates this profound sense of numbness.
Which is exactly what Billy is feeling. He can't process the magnitude of the horror.
So he processes none of it.
Or rather, he adopts a completely different perspective that makes it bearable.
Which brings us to the aliens.
Tralfamadore.
This is where the book takes a massive left turn into science fiction.
And I think this is where some readers get a bit lost, or they think Vonnegut is just being weird for the sake of being weird.
Billy claims he was abducted by a flying saucer in 1967.
On his daughter's wedding night of all times.
And the description of the Tralfamadorians is pure, classic Vonnegut absurdism.
They aren't terrifying movie monsters. They aren't beautiful humanoids.
They're 2 feet high, green, and shaped like plumber's friends.
Plungers. With little hand and a single eye at the top of the shaft.
It sounds so B-movie.
It does, but their philosophy, that is the intellectual core of the entire book.
They completely dismantle our human concept of time.
To us Earthlings, time is a string of beads.
One moment follows another.
And once a moment is gone, it is gone forever.
We are obsessed with cause and effect, with the why of things.
We live in this constant state of anxiety about the future and deep regret about the past.
But the Tralfamadorians see time like a mountain range.
Yes. They look at all moments simultaneously.
They can see the past, the present, and the future all at once.
So to them, a person isn't dead. They are simply in a bad condition in that particular moment.
But they are fine in plenty of other moments.
Exactly. Hence, so it goes.
Why cry at a funeral if the person is still alive in 1955 having a beer in the backyard?
Right. And they have this incredible analogy for humanity.
The amber.
They say we are all bugs in amber.
Trapped in the moment, and there is no why.
When Billy gets abducted, he asks the alien, "Why me?"
And the alien basically laughs at him.
He says, "Why you? Why us, for that matter? Because this moment simply is."
It's a philosophy of absolute, total determinism.
Which is strangely comforting in a way.
Well, if you have no free will, if the future is already fixed in the amber,
Then you aren't responsible for the bad things that happen.
you aren't responsible for the war.
You aren't responsible for your friend dying in a boxcar.
It is the ultimate coping mechanism for severe trauma.
If you can't change the horrific things you witnessed, you just change the nature of time itself.
So that the horror is just one immutable point on a map, not a tragedy that could have been avoided.
It completely absolves Billy of the guilt of survival.
And while he's on Tralfamadore, Billy is put in a zoo.
He's displayed naked in a habitat furnished with stolen Sears Roebuck furniture.
And they even bring him a mate, Montana Wild Hack.
A very famous movie star from Earth.
It creates this completely surreal domestic life. They're under a dome, breathing a cyanide atmosphere outside.
While thousands of plungers watch them go about their day.
It really raises the question, is any of this real?
Or is Billy Pilgrim hallucinating a scenario where he is safe, cared for, and utterly absolved of responsibility?
The book never explicitly answers that, does it?
It leaves it wonderfully ambiguous.
But whether it's literal sci-fi or a psychological break, the function is identical.
It allows Billy to escape the memories of 1945.
It's a dissociation so powerful that it literally creates a new universe in his mind.
But he can't escape forever, because he keeps time traveling back.
And all roads in this book inevitably lead back to Dresden.
Dresden is the black hole at the center of the novel.
The narrative circles it, it jumps away from it, and then slowly spirals back in.
We know it's coming. But Vonnegut makes us wait for it.
When Billy first arrives in Dresden as a POW, the contrast is so jarring,
He describes the city like Oz.
which is a stark contrast to the boxcars they had just been surviving in.
The boxcars were a nightmare of human degradation. Men dying, drinking, and excreting through the same ventilators.
A rolling coffin.
But then they open the doors in Dresden, and it's stunning.
The city is untouched. The war hasn't reached it yet.
It's filled with beautiful architecture and music and life.
And the American prisoners, because their uniforms have rotted away, they look like a parade of clowns.
Billy is wearing a silver toga he found in a theater costume trunk.
And silver Cinderella boots.
He looks like a figure from a pantomime. A sad, ridiculous clown.
And they are marched through this beautiful, pristine city to their prison.
Which has a very specific address.
Slaughterhouse-Five.
Slaughterhouse-Five.
It's a concrete cube that was previously used as a holding pen for pigs.
That is where they live. And ironically, it's this location, a place designed explicitly for death.
That ultimately saves their lives.
The firebombing itself. Vonnegut doesn't write it like an action sequence.
He doesn't describe the planes dropping the bombs in real time.
Because the prisoners are underground?
They are locked in a meat locker, carved deep into the living rock. The description is just of giants walking above them.
The sounds of high explosives are like massive footsteps.
It's incredibly visceral, but entirely detached.
They are completely removed from the mechanism of destruction. They're just huddled in the dark, in the cold, waiting.
And when they finally come out,
They emerge to the surface of the moon.
that is the recurring image. Dresden isn't there anymore.
It isn't even a ruined city. It's just a mineral deposit.
The stones are literally hot.
And the silence.
That's what strikes me most in the text.
Yeah.
The absolute silence.
There are no birds, just nothingness.
And the sky is just an impenetrable canopy of smoke.
And think about the guards, these German guards who were previously terrifying, shouting orders representing the fearsome enemy.
Now they are huddled together, their mouths open in shock.
Looking like a silent barbershop quartet.
They are just as broken as the prisoners.
The entire hierarchy of war has dissolved because the world itself is dissolved.
The scale of the destruction is almost impossible to comprehend. 135,000 people.
That's more casualties than Hiroshima.
And amidst this massive, incomprehensible massacre, Vonnegut zooms way in.
He focuses on one specific story to show us the true absurdity of it all.
The story of Edgar Derby.
Poor old Edgar Derby.
He is the quintessential good soldier.
He's a high school teacher. He's older, but he pulled strings to get into the army because he believed he should do his part.
He's fit. He's deeply patriotic.
He is the character who absolutely should be the hero in any traditional war novel.
He survives everything. The boxcars, the starvation.
He keeps the men's morale up.
He survives the unimaginable firestorm that erased a city.
And then in the ruins, amidst the corpse mines,
Where they are literally digging through liquefied human remains.
he finds a teapot, an intact, unburnt teapot.
And he picks it up
And he gets arrested for looting.
and is executed by a firing squad.
It is the ultimate crushing absurdity.
A man is legally shot for taking a teapot in a city where 135,000 innocent people have just been murdered and burned.
This is exactly why Vonnegut says there is no moral. There's no beginning, middle, or end.
If you try to impose a neat narrative arc on war, you are lying to yourself.
Edgar Derby's death proves that death in war is completely random. It is undignified.
It isn't a tragedy in the classical heroic sense. It's just a thing that happened.
So it goes.
After the war, Billy finally comes home. And this is where we really see the long tail of trauma.
Because on the surface, he's living the post-war American dream.
He becomes a very wealthy optometrist,
He marries his boss's daughter, Valencia.
who adores him, by the way.
She does. They have a big house, a Cadillac. He has everything he is supposed to want.
He is a respected pillar of the community in Ilium, New York.
But the cracks in the facade are everywhere.
He checks himself into a mental hospital early on.
And later, even when he is supposedly functioning, he weeps without knowing why.
He'll be driving down the street and just has to pull the car over because he's sobbing.
But he has no specific sad thought in his head.
The body keeps the score.
You can repress the memory all you want, but your physiology remembers the trauma.
Which brings us to that incredible scene at his anniversary party.
The barbershop quartet.
That scene is just masterful, brings all the threads together.
They are just 4 optometrists singing That Old Gang of Mine.
It should be a sweet, nostalgic moment,
Mm.
but Billy has a visceral, overwhelming physical reaction.
It's a massive panic attack, but it's more than that.
His mouth suddenly tastes like lemonade and mustard gas.
He feels like he's being stretched on a torture rack.
Because the sight of those 4 men standing close together with their mouths open, singing,
Instantly transports him back to the 4 shocked German guards in the smoking ruins of Dresden.
it's a PTSD flashback, obviously.
Uh.
But within the logic of the book, it's a literal time jump.
He is physically and mentally there again.
The sensory details totally bridge the gap between 1945 and 1968.
And nobody around him understands.
His wife, Valencia, she's sitting there eating a candy bar, talking about silver patterns for their anniversary.
She tries to get him to talk about the war, but she wants the heroic version.
The John Wayne version.
Yeah.
She asks, was it awful?
And Billy just says, it was all right. Everything is all right.
He's channeling the Tralfamadorians right there.
He can't connect with her reality because her reality is just too small.
It doesn't account for the moonscape. It doesn't account for the corpse mines.
And this is where the character of Kilgore Trout becomes so important to Billy's survival.
Kilgore Trout, the failed sci-fi writer living in total obscurity in Ilium.
Billy discovers his work and becomes his biggest fan.
Trout is basically Vonnegut's alter ego.
Right? In many ways, yes. But within the story itself, Trout provides the framework for Billy's delusion.
Billy reads Trout's books, which feature aliens, zoos, time travel.
And those stories bleed directly into his reality.
It strongly suggests that Billy is constructing the entire planet of Tralfamadore out of the pulp fiction he reads.
He's using it to build a framework to make sense of his shattered life.
There's one book of Trout's that really stands out to me, The Gospel from Outer Space.
Oh, yes. It's a brilliant rewriting of the New Testament.
An alien visitor comes to Earth, studies Christianity, and decides the problem is that the Gospels teach the wrong lesson entirely.
The lesson people take away being, before you kill somebody, make absolutely sure he isn't well connected.
Exactly. The alien argues that because Jesus was the Son of God, the lesson people internalize was, don't kill him because he has powerful connection.
His dad can make thunder.
Right. But it implies it's perfectly fine to kill nobodies.
It's okay to kill people who don't have powerful friends.
So the alien rewrites the gospel so that Jesus is just a bum, a total nobody.
And when he is crucified, God speaks from the heavens and says, the lesson is, don't kill anybody.
Even a nobody. Its profound critique of how society justifies violence.
We constantly categorize people. These people matter, those people don't.
In Dresden, 135,000 people were deemed nobodies by the bombers.
Vonnegut is saying that as long as we believe some lives are worth less than others, we're always going to have wars.
Billy's life unravels even further when he gets into a horrific plane crash in Vermont.
It's a chartered plane full of optometrists.
Everyone dies except Billy and the co-pilot.
Another random brush with arbitrary death.
And while he is in the hospital recovering from severe brain surgery,
his wife Valencia dies trying to get to him.
It's dark comedy again. She panics, drives recklessly, damages the car.
She loses her exhaust system on the highway.
And she ends up dying of carbon monoxide poisoning waiting outside the hospital.
It's deeply tragic, but it's executed like a slapstick comedy routine.
So it goes.
And it's right after this brain injury, and that is a key detail, the brain injury.
That Billy finally goes public.
He goes on a radio show in New York City and starts talking about Tralfamadore and the true nature of time.
Which brings us to the climax of the book, or, well, the end of Billy's timeline.
1976.
He's in Chicago. The U.S. has been balkanized into 20 petty nations.
It's a totally dystopian future, and Billy is speaking to a massive crowd about flying saucers and time.
And he knows he is about to die.
He's seen it. He's time-traveled to this exact moment 100 times.
He knows Paul Lazzaro's in the audience.
The guy who swore revenge for Roland Weary decades ago in the boxcar.
Lazzaro's an old man now, but he keeps his promises.
Billy tells the crowd, "It is time for me to be dead for a little while, and then live again."
He is completely at peace with it. He even refuses police protection. And then, zap.
A high-powered laser gun.
Billy Pilgrim is dead.
But to him, it's just a violet light and a hum.
And then he simply swings back to another moment in his life.
He has fully adopted the alien view. Death is not an ending.
It's just a violet light. He returns to the womb, or back to 1955, or the zoo.
It's such a detached, clinical way to view one's own murder.
It feels cold. It feels like he's surrendered his humanity entirely just to avoid the pain of living.
But then Vonnegut hits us with the counterweight.
The one moment where Billy isn't detached.
The one single moment in the war where he actually cries.
This is truly the emotional anchor of the book. It happens right after the war ends in Europe.
They are out in the ruins of Dresden. They find a green, coffin-shaped wagon and 2 horses.
They load the wagon up with souvenirs and food. Billy is actually happy.
He's snoozing in the sun. He thinks he's made it out. The worst is finally over.
But then an older German couple walks by. They look at the horses and they start weeping.
They come over and point out what the Americans hadn't even noticed.
The horses are bleeding.
Their mouths are completely torn by the bits.
Their hooves are broken.
They are dying of thirst. They are in agonizing pain, but they can't complain.
And Billy looks at these suffering horses.
And he bursts into tears.
Think about that for a second. He didn't cry for the destroyed city.
He didn't cry for Edgar Derby being shot.
He didn't even cry for his own intense suffering.
But he weeps for the horses.
Why? What is it about the horses that finally breaks through that wall?
I think it's the total, undeniable innocence.
The horses have no politics, no nationality.
They have no concept of war or right and wrong.
They are just beasts of burden being crushed by a machine they cannot comprehend.
It's the purest form of suffering. And in that moment, the Tralfamadorian armor just cracks.
The pain gets in.
He realizes that even if So It Goes is true on a cosmic level, suffering is still suffering.
It hurts. It matters.
The book ends not with the assassination in 1976, but back in 1945.
Chronologically, the war just ends.
The trees are leafing out. It's springtime.
The corpse mines are finally closed because there are just too many bodies left to dig up.
And it's quiet.
Vonnegut tells us that everything is supposed to be very quiet after a massacre.
Because there is nothing intelligent to say.
You can't wrap it up with a rousing speech about freedom or tyranny.
It's just dead people.
Except for the birds.
And what does the bird say?
Pooty wheat.
That's the very last line of the novel. Pooty wheat.
It's nonsense. It's just a bird sound.
It signifies that there are absolutely no words in any human language that can summarize a massacre.
There is no neat moral summation. There is only the indifference of nature continuing on.
The bird doesn't care about Dresden. It just sings.
So as we wrap up, let's unpack the big takeaway here for you.
We have this massive tension between So It Goes, which feels like total apathy.
And the horrific reality of the events we've discussed.
Right. Is this book teaching us to be like the aliens? To just shrug at tragedy and say, so it goes?
I really don't think so.
I think So It Goes is a diagnosis, not a prescription.
It's showing us how a human mind has to break in order to survive the unsurvivable.
But the book itself, the sheer fact that Vonnegut pushed through the trauma to write it.
That is an act of protest.
We mentioned that anti-glacier idea earlier. That writing an anti-war book is as futile as writing an anti-glacier book.
You can't stop a glacier from coming.
War might be inevitable. Aggression might just be a tragic part of the human condition.
But he's also saying that even if wars come like glaciers, there are still people involved in them.
There are still babies.
And how we treat those babies, how we treat the innocent, that matters deeply.
It's about witnessing. Even if you can't change the past, you have a duty to look at it.
You have to acknowledge the bleeding horses. You have to mourn the man shot for stealing a teapot.
Precisely. If we were truly Tralfamadorians, we would just look at the nice moments.
We'd stare at the giraffe in the zoo and happily ignore the war.
But Vonnegut makes us look at the corpse mines. He makes us look at the destruction.
He forces us to see the ugliness, even while his protagonist is desperately trying to look away.
He forces us to remain human.
And that leads to a really haunting thought to leave you with.
If we are all just bugs in amber, entirely trapped in our preset moments,
Are we ever truly alive? Or are we just replaying a pre-recorded tape?
that is the ultimate question. And if we really can't change the past or the future,
If the amber is permanently set,
then the only thing we truly have is the present moment.
the duty we have is to be kind right now.
To help the person standing next to us right now.
Because the past is frozen and the future is coming no matter what.
But right now, we are here.
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change.
Courage to change the things I can, and wisdom always to tell the difference.
Billy Pilgrim had the serenity.
But maybe he lacked the courage. Or maybe when you're caught in a firestorm, courage is just another word for luck.
Listen, that is Slaughterhouse-Five. It is a heavy one, but man, is it necessary.
Absolutely. It is a book that demands to be felt, not just read.
Thanks for joining this deep dive with us. We will see you in the next moment.
So it goes.